congratulations. I mean this in the best way, on a weird, funny, wonderful movie. This is actually an audience of your fellow SAG actors. So I always like, I always like to start by asking, how did you get your SAG card? What was the job that brought that mystery to you? I know you all have one because you're SAG Award winners, so they give you the card when you get that.
I did a movie called Tales from the Dark Side.
Yes, you did. I love that.
Yes, I did. It was in Yonkers, and it took me 2 weeks to film. I had only been an AFTRA member up until then, and I turned into a mummy at the end.
Yes, you did.
That's what I remember.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, exactly. And Debbie Harry was in the movie, so that was really great.
Woo!
Yeah.
Natalie?
I was 11 years old, 1992, on Leon, the Professional.
Not even like a commercial or anything, just right into Leon?
I tried out for a lot of commercials and never got it done.
We'll keep trying.
Well, Todd, how about yours?
Yeah, actually, you've acted in some of your films, haven't you?
No, I haven't, but I was in commercials when I was
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I did a McDonald's commercial when I was 7.
Yes. Child actor. And look at how good you turned out. Charles, for you?
I was 26, and I had this guest star on Glee in season 5. I think it was episode 5. 37 minutes in, 43 seconds, going to my bestie. And I remember on Wilshire walking to the SAG building and getting my SAG card, and yes.
Oh, no. Did you sing on Glee, or was it?
Oh, no.
Well, again, congratulations on a wonderful movie. It's very rare that you see a film and you think, I've never seen this story before. You know, it's completely and wholly original. The idea of an actress, shadowing the woman she's playing who has her own notoriety. How did the script find its way to you, and what interested you in making this film?
Well, it was Natalie. It was all Natalie, who was one of the producers on this film. And Sammy Birch's remarkable script was circulating and getting a lot of great word of mouth. And Natalie had just formed a production company, and they found it, and she somehow thought of me and reached out and sent me the script. This is right at the height of COVID in 2020. And so there was a lot of stuff we were all looking at, and we were all wondering when we'd get back to work, and I was reading more stuff than I usually do. But this script was extraordinary and had such a decisive and confident way of navigating all of this gray matter, all of this murky, morally complicated terrain, and doing it with that brilliant idea of it being 20 years after the tabloid event occurred, So it already created this sense of distance and space that had to be navigated, and there was this central character who was going to do the navigation and penetrate this household where it ended up being shot in Tybee Island, Savannah, Georgia. And I just was so impressed by what she had done, the tone that it conducted, and I figured this would be a tremendous and exciting challenge as a director to try to bring something comparable to a film version of that.
And Natalie, when you first read the script, were you reading with an actor's eye, a producer's eye, or do you always have both going?
Well, I think I read it with an actor's eye first. I think it was just immediately so clear how rich these characters were and how rare it was to find something that was so specific and so detailed and so complicated, where you never really know how you feel about any of the characters. And then, of course, I guess it was actors dreaming that led me to have the producer's eye, which I was like, I wish Todd Haynes would have this. And then, of course, Todd brought along the dream of Julie, and Charles. I mean, just like the best people possible to work with.
You do find your alliances shifting throughout the movie. I'm curious if even now, you know, having made this movie and now it's complete, do your feelings on Elizabeth still shift?
Well, I feel like you can't really judge a character when you play it. You just have to kind of understand what they're doing at the time they're doing it, which also sometimes, like, I always find it really funny that so many acting instructions are like, figure out the motivation. I'm like, I don't know my motivation in life. Like I feel like most humans don't. So, you know, I think just understanding what propels their actions, even though they might not be conscious of it. And I think that's how most of these characters are operating, which is kind of unconsciously.
Yeah, and they're fascinating. I never know what they're going to do next. Julianne, you're obviously a package deal with Todd. You've made so many wonderful films together. Is it a matter of he calls and you say yes before you even know what it is?
Oh my God! Listen, I mean, it's been the great miracle of my life to have this collaboration with him. I honestly can't believe it, because I was telling him that I walked by the building in New York where I first auditioned for him for Safe, and I was like, I can remember going up there and how nervous I was and what I was wearing and all of that. So no, it's not. It's not a. I love the idea that people think we're a package deal, but I'm just so grateful every time he offers me a job. And this one came completely out of the blue. I mean, it really did. And he was like, Natalie Portman sent me the script, and I thought of you. What do you think of this? And it was amazing, astonishing, and really just another, you know, great gift that came my way. But yeah, no. Yes, I'm always mad. So it's not a fait accompli, believe me. It's like he has lots of people to choose from, so I'm very happy when he chooses me.
I mean, I feel like we're seeing improvement in roles, especially women's roles on screen, but when you get a script that has, you know, an amazing, complex, fun role for a woman, and then there's two, I mean, what is your reaction? Do you immediately start thinking about who your co-stars can be?
This was astonishing, and Natalie and I have been talking about this today too. The fact that here's a relationship that's so intimate, so challenging, so unusual, and they're not related to one another. It's not a love story. It's simply two independent women and their interaction with each other, and it's combative and kind of I don't know, complicated and admiring. And, you know, when I think about Gracie's desire, you know, so much for approval from this woman, she's saying, you know, this is who I am. I want you to see me, but see me how I see myself too. So she keeps showing her, dropping all these crumbs about how she wants to be seen, and then gradually starts to crack under the pressure of actually being seen. Yeah. So that kind of challenge, to be able to play that with someone, to have that, like in the makeup scene, to have that kind of intimacy with another actor, actress, is very unusual, as I think a lot of the female performers here would attest to.
And did you know each other well going? I just always assumed there's like this club in New York where Oscar-winning actresses, like, you know, show their card, bring your Oscar, and get in.
We didn't know each other well, no, but we had met several times.
At the club.
Yeah, at the club. At the club.
I know there's a club.
I wrote Natalie an email after Black Swan because I so admired that performance. I'd seen her around, you know, like, you know, at the club and stuff. And no, but you'd see, you know, you honestly see people at like press events or screenings or something, but just socially. And I just was so blown away by that performance, and so wrote to her then. But we hadn't worked together, so.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I've admired Julie my entire life. I mean, it's just like film after film after film after film. It's so spectacular. And yeah, it was like, I had to pinch myself every day that I got to work opposite her. And with Todd, who's like, anyway.
I mean, your whole ensemble, every single role is so brilliantly cast. And Charles, you're such a discovery in this movie. I mean, this role and this character character are so endlessly complicated. If there's a sequel, I could just follow him for a few more hours. Can you sort of walk us through, did you get the script? Was it a typical audition, or did you know you were going to be sharing scenes with Julianne Moore and Natalie Portman?
I did know, and I was honestly every day pinching myself on set, working with these two masters, icons in their craft, and with Todd just leading the way. This was last summer when I got the audition. Laura Rosenthal, our casting director that Todd works with frequently, sent me sides, and it was kind of this 6-week process of taping. And I remember after I set in my first tape, my team was like, "These are notes from Todd Haynes." And I was like, wait, did he typed these notes? And it was kind of a process of really not trying to book the job, but more so kind of diving into the history of Joe and who this man was. And the next thing I knew, I was flying out to New York to do a chemistry read with Julie and Todd. I remember standing outside the audition room, and I heard Todd and Julie talking, and then I heard Laura talking. And I stood out there for it felt like forever, but it was like 45 seconds, and then I just went in, and then I kind of disappeared and came back out, and then found out that I got the job a couple weeks later, and it's crazy.
Like I said, your whole cast is fantastic, but you have such a great eye for casting. You have since Poison, honestly, since all your movies. But this is a very tricky role to cast. What were you looking for or not looking for?
It was an incredibly tricky role. We knew it sort of occupied such a centerpiece in this script, with these two incredibly strong and compelling and disturbing female characters at the center. And then this man who's sort of coming into focus, to us as viewers and to himself as a person, as a man, through the course of the film. And I saw some really interesting, Laura and I saw some really great actors read for the role. But Charles did something different from anybody. And there was this sense of somebody being formed in real time and sort of learning how to speak in real time. There was something so pent up in what he did, and so minimal, And I think there were places, we were moving very quickly at this point and trying to get this film made, very little money and time. And I think this is always the mystery and the wonder of filmmaking when it works out this way, his audition informed me about who Joe was. And in some places that I wasn't even that ready to look at, like the past story, I could all of a sudden see it with Charles. And so it deepened and it filled in the story for me, and then we knew we had the answer for who would play this part and really bring it home.
Charles, did you come out of the room going like, yes, nailed it, or did you think you had botched it entirely?
No, it was, I remember walking out of the room. I've heard so many times, I'm sure many of you heard this, just leave it all in the room, just leave it in the room. And I don't think I've ever left it in the room. But this moment in that room with Todd, Julie, and Laura Rosenthal, our casting director, I walked out of that room feeling like, you know what? This whole 6-week process of taping and getting to know this character, that was enough. Like, this is the greatest gift I experienced up until that point in my career, personally. And then I got the phone call. And then Todd called me, and I remember seeing the area code for Oregon pop up, and I was like, oh my god.
503?
Yeah.
503.
Yes, and we talked, and I was just ready to just get into it, and we talked about how Joe would feel, and not so much what he would look like, but just how he would feel and how that would translate into just like his physicality, and putting on just the physical transformation of just Joe finding comfort. Where does he find comfort, and where does he have time to find comfort? He's his father with 3 kids, and he's a provider. He's a great husband. He really doesn't have the time to go to the gym. And so that part of the process was really fun. I ate so much ice cream, so many pizzas. It was great.
I wanted to eat all those cakes you were making. Those looked amazing.
I ate a lot of that cake.
Did you?
I